Hey, Dennis, what's on your mind today?
How's it going, Tom? I have a question about tariffs. I know you and many other progressives usually don't like the way Trump does tariffs. My question to you is, how would you impose tariffs on China to help American production without starting a trade war up to levels like 20%? That's what they used to be.
I'm sorry, say that again? How would you impose tariffs without doing a trade war?
Yeah, up to levels of 20% like we used to have.
Yeah. Well, I think it will spark a trade war, but you do it rationally and you do it through policy and you explain it to everybody and you do it through Congress, not through executive order. Donald Trump is able to impose tariffs as a result of a law that was passed by Congress years and years ago that says that the president may impose tariffs for national security purposes. Now, the idea of that was that there are certain products that are essential to our national security, whether it's critical metals, rare earth minerals, things like that, whether it's certain types of technology. And we want to maintain the manufacturing ability for those particular materials here in the United States for national security purposes. So if we think that, we have to be able to manufacture chips that fly cruise missiles in the United States, then you put a tariff on them to keep the manufacturing here. Trump is generalizing that. There is no national security dimension to manufacturing baby strollers. I mean, there's an economic well-being dimension, there's a jobs well-being dimension, but it's got nothing to do with national security. And so Trump is...
for tariffs?
Say that again?
Are you for tariffs?
I am totally in favor of tariffs. Protectionism is what built this country. Protectionism is what built China. Protectionism is what built South Korea. Protectionism is what built Europe. Protectionism is what built the Dutch in the 1400s. It's what built the United Kingdom in the 15 and 1600s. It was what built the United States in the 17, 18, and 1900s. And it, like I said, it's what built China over the last 50 years. Protectionism actually works. But you do it by having Congress say, okay, we have over about a 20-year period, we've basically phased out all our tariffs. We still have over 27,000 tariff categories listed by the U.S. Department of Commerce. And it's just that almost all of those tariffs that maybe 50 years ago were at the 20% more or less level that you point out have now dropped down to around the 1% to 2% level. But they're still there. Many of them, most of them are still there. Many of them are still there. So Congress comes out, they pass legislation that says, okay, over the next 10 years, over a decade, every year, the tariffs on all these products, regardless of the country they're coming from. This is not to punish individual countries. This is to bring manufacturing back to the United States. Tariffs on all these categories are going to go up 2% a year over the next 10 years. And that way, the manufacturers know, okay, hey, 6 years in, if we don't have a factory in the United States, we're actually going to be spending more for manufacturing in Indonesia or China or Taiwan than we're spending for manufacturing here. So let's start building that factory. Let's make that investment. American companies right now are literally sitting on more cash than they ever have in the history of the United States. And so there's no shortage of money to build factories to bring jobs back to the United States. The problem is uncertainty. And because Trump is doing this by executive order. So when he leaves office, if you get a neoliberal president following Trump, whether it's a Democrat or Republican, one of these guys who believes in so-called free trade, the tariffs are going to go away. And any company that came back to the United States because of the tariffs is going to be left high and dry. So that's how you do it, Dennis. You do it through Congress, and you do it educating the American public, and you do it gradually.